Right, so switching colours then over to Gaelic football. We've got two provincial finals happening this weekend in the Munster Championship and in the Connacht Championship. So the first one that we're going to look at is, of course, two teams who will be competing. Well, all of these teams obviously will be competing for silverware this weekend. We're going Kerry versus Clare at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick. Now, this game, obviously, massive opportunity for Clare, of course, the provincial final. It's been a while since they've been at one, even though they've been consistently fantastic. They've just always been unlucky that they've ended up in the same side of the draw as Kerry on a number of occasions now. Now they have their day in a provincial final. You know, had a fantastic victory over Cork, a good win over Limerick as well to get through to this stage. And now they have a crack at a Kerry side who haven't really been tested at all in the championship, I think it's fair to say. You look at how easily they overcame Tipperary in the semi-final by 20 points, barely leaving second gear. What do you make of this game on paper at the start?
We know what Clare are going to do. They're going to flood everyone back. I love to see Clare do well because of the job that Colm Collins has done. And I knew Podge Collins in college, so I'm always looking out to see how they're getting on. But I think they'll make it hard for the first half. I think I'm not sure what the weather is supposed to be like this weekend. A lot of rain would help Clare's cause, so they're just going to try and stick with Kerry for as long as possible. I don't think there's any denying that Kerry are going to come out on top, but if Clare can stick with them for 40-50 minutes, at least it will make a good game of it. But like Clare have some great footballers, you know, Cleary and the like. So it's just going to be how long they can hold back the sort of Kerry constant wave. It will be a lot closer than the Tipperary match, but you know, you could see maybe 6 points. Maybe Kerry could end up coming out on top by. But again, to see how Kerry approach it and how they approach a mass defence will be something to watch out for. You know, sometimes they've traditionally struggled with that. Was it last year for large parts of the Cork game? I think they struggled. So Clare are just going to try and do exactly that. So it'll be nice to see the Kerry try and come up with something else to try and get around that sort of mass defence.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I'd be really, really confident in saying that this game will not be a blowout. This will not be an easy Kerry win. They're going to have to work for this. Clare are going to set up to make the game difficult, I think, but they're also going to, I also think, look, let their forwards go. Like, once they let them go against Dublin, they dominated long parts of that game. They should have beaten Dublin in Croke Park. You think about Gavin Cooney's goal, you know, Owen Cleary giving a masterclass around the midfield in terms of how he was just completely orchestrating the play for Clare throughout the game. I'm like, if they can get those players on the ball as much as possible, I know that is the most basic analysis ever, but if they can get Owen Cleary, Emmett McMahon, these guys on the ball as much as possible, Keelan Sexton as well is in fantastic form in the full forward line. If they can get these lads on the ball as much as possible, like, they have really, really good chance of doing damage to the Kerry defence, because Kerry defence hasn't looked as strong this year as it had this time last year. This time last year, it was clear that they'd worked so much on their defence. But for Clare, I do agree with you. I think they need to take a leaf out of like the book of provincial shocks that have happened over the last few years. Like, i.e. Cork beating Kerry in 2020, Fermanagh beating Monaghan in 2018. Just look at how those sides just hung in the game. They just stayed in the game. They made it difficult, and they made it that there was only 3 or 4 points in it going into the last quarter. And if they can get to that stage, and then they let the Owen Clearys, the Emmett McMahons, the Gavin Cooneys, they let them go, I think there is a path for Clare to win this game, I believe.
Yeah, there's plenty. I think the difference between the likes of Clare and, say, when Fermanagh played Derry there a few weeks ago, Clare have outstanding forwards. Now Fermanagh have some good forwards, but just I think the likes of Cleary and Sexton are at a different level. I think they could get on most teams in the country. So they can exploit that as well as having a packed defence. It's like, I suppose the buzzword these days is the transition. Can they transition from the defence to the attack? And how strong are Kerry going to be at the back? So yeah, I think I agree with you. I think they'll stick with them. It could be 3 or 4 points in it, or 3 points in it, maybe with 5 minutes to go. But I do think Kerry will just sort of tag on a few points to make it. Kerry will not want to get to the last few minutes with 2 points in it. They will have learned from that Cork game a couple of years ago. I know it was a different manager, but still, they won't want to be put in a position like that. I think they'll just sort of step up a gear towards the end, and they will have a stronger bench as well.
Yeah. So for me, Kerry by 5. What are you saying?
Kerry 5 or 6.